more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Oh, we are back. It is the Square Circle Digest. I'm Sean Stanley. That is Mr. Frankie Frezko. How we doing tonight, Frankie? You're not hearing me.
Psych, I got you. I got you.
Geez, this guy. I was like, we just went through this, and I couldn't hear you, and now you can't hear me.
Nah, I hear you loud and clear, man. Loud and clear, my bad. I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
This guy wants to start with damn jokes this early in the show. That's the way this show is going to go, is it? Shout out to me. Well, we got a lot to talk about, and, well, not really like a lot, but there's a big story brewing right now in the world of WWE, right? WWE.
WA.
It is the Cody Rhodes saga. Watch this. Watch, Frankie. Watch closely. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, pretty.
Look at this. So pretty. So pretty. So I've got my handy dandy notebook here.
Okay.
Right here. I got a somewhat of a timeline we're going to go through. I want to go over. Yeah, no doubt. No kidding. I thought we had a big moment. I thought Frankie was me on the other end. Usually you guys don't see me in the morning, but I'm like, no, but no big old moment there. Thank goodness. Phew. So I'm going to go off. And again, most of this is coming. I kind of went through the Fightful Select, Sean Ross Sapp, and kind of took their notes. And then also there's some things from Dave Meltzer with Wrestling Observer Radio, things like that, just to give us kind of a timeline of how some of this came together. So I'm going to go through this real quick, and then we'll get into our thoughts and correlations on a lot of this. And please, on the chat, and this is a very interactive show, jump in, throw in your stuff. Chad, what's up, my man? And so then just jump in and what you got. So I'm going to start with back on January 3rd. And now one thing came very clear to me as I was writing this down, and as I'm reading it, it might come as clear to you as well. Very interesting. Try to follow it as we go, and I know it's going to be a little difficult because I'm going to say it and you're not writing it down or anything. But so on January 3rd, the WrestleMania main event is Roman and The Rock. Some sources say that's coming from TKO, Ari Manuel, and Mark Shapiro. At that time, it was Seth versus Punk, Rock, Roman. There was even merch pushing, being laid out for the merchandise of WrestleMania. The afternoon, again, this is jumping a little bit ahead. The afternoon of the Royal Rumble, Rock agreed to face Reigns. The Rock head of table WrestleMania prototypes were being designed. And you know, of course, leading up to the Royal Rumble, the Vince allegations ramped up. Lesnar gets linked. Lesnar's pulled from WWE Creative, Royal Rumble, and everything else there. Punk gets hurt during the Rumble. Cody wins the Rumble, goes up to the corner after he wins the Rumble, and looks straight to Roman Reigns. Now, as of the week before the Royal Rumble, sources were saying Cody was told he was working with Reigns. There was multiple reassurances of that to Cody. Cody goes to Raw, of course. Seth cuts his promo about you want a chance at the working title. Cody goes to SmackDown, and then of course Cody is that's when The Rock comes out. Now Cody was aware of The Rock and the plans before he traveled to that SmackDown taping. And he also said during that time frame that he did not believe that the fans would react the way they think they're going to react. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer Radio said The Rock Roman was part of his TKO deal when The Rock at that time was given back the name, was given the rights and the merch name for The Rock. So as I'm reading into this, I believe Triple H and the WWE wants it to be Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. I believe TKO, the parent company of WWE, wants it to be The Rock versus Roman Reigns. I believe this is where the disconnect is happening. What say ye, Mr. Frankie Frezko?
No, ye, sir. I mean, damn, I didn't know all that. You know, I would have thought that they would have allowed Triple H to run the show. That's why he was the guy put in charge for this, right?
Well, the one thing that catches my eye is back when I said January 3rd, the WrestleMania main event is Rock Roman. Who's in charge at that time? Who's at the helm of WWE? Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon's going to want The Rock. But here's the thing is, I think Triple H is running the day-to-day. He's got it set up as, I'm going to push for this to be Cody and Roman. Then you've got the Ari Manuel, the TKO, and all that, who's good friends with The Rock. They're working on these negotiations to get Rock part of the TKO board. They offer him, guessing, if you listen to what Meltzer said, the main event at WrestleMania as part of the negotiations. So, of course, he's going to take it. But now my question is, who else knew about all this stuff? As far as, did you guys relay this to Triple H? Did you relay it to anybody in creative to where, like, hey, I don't know if it's going to be a good idea if Cody goes up and stares down, Roman Reigns?
I think they relayed the message to CM Punk. Did you see CM Punk's promo with Cody? He literally called it out. Everything he said.
I forgot to write that one down, because also remember, this is the same thing that happened to CM Punk during the whole pipe bomb phase when The Rock came back and got the title. So then, yes, and in the Raw, he did say the same. He said it on Monday. He said it exactly. That's when I started saying this is an angle. And I believe now they're having to work this as an angle because of all the shit that's hitting the fan because of all the stupidness that's been going on right now with this thing.
But come on, WrestleMania fans, wrestling fans, what is the deal here? We've been asking for Roman versus The Rock for how long? And now they're going to give it to us and now we're complaining about it? I don't know, man.
Not only that, though, here's my biggest thing about all this, okay? So we're going to give it to Cody. What's saying Cody's going to WrestleMania to win? And if Cody loses again, then what?
Yeah, I mean,
because I know
this is up
pulling
the
the
story.
sheet back a little bit. We had a phone call we talked a little bit on the phone the other day, but I honestly believe they want Roman Reigns to, knock Hogan out of the longest title reign. You've had him for over 1,200 days. I think he has like 100 and something days left. You're going to take it off of him at WrestleMania? And then how upset would the fans be if you put Cody in there and he loses again?
Yeah. I mean, I will say this, man. Why would TKO include this decision to add The Rock in the reason to bring him over? Like, why should that matter? Like, I thought The Rock was like whatever. He was doing his negotiations. I didn't know that they wanted him that badly in WrestleMania like that. I think
they look at it as dollar signs. The Rock is dollar signs, man.
Yeah, it is, but okay, granted, we were talking about this what, maybe like a day or two ago we were talking about it, and I always said this. I was like, they should have left it to be Cody versus Roman, and if you wanted to involve The Rock in it, then just go ahead and add him as a special guest referee. And then what you could do is you basically allow The Rock to kind of be the decisive factor for Cody to be able to get over Roman Reigns. You know how Solo, Jimmy, these guys always like to interfere. Now Rock being a referee, he would stop that, and Cody would be able to win the belt. And now you carry that storyline of Roman versus The Rock, and you could go to the next pay-per-view or to WrestleMania. You could do whatever you want with it, but now you have a reason why to actually put The Rock versus Roman. Just not so random like now, because
and the one thing also is that WWE has not committed to either match.
They haven't. They've
had the face off and SmackDown ended. Then smartly last night, and whether they chose Drew McIntyre for it or not, whatever, but you didn't have to have Cody sit there and look stupid by not making a decision because you threw Drew McIntyre in there to throw the curveball, and then he didn't have to answer because now he they went after each other, and you forget about answering because now they're throwing fists. So,
is it true that they were giving out flyers or like signs to the fans to hold?
There's been two stories of this. I read that there was a fan that made a bunch of copies and was handing them out to the fans. Oh. Another fan made him and handed them out, is what the story I saw. Then there was another story, which somebody else sent over to me, that said WWE had them printed out. Because the other side of this is they want to get the Cody Rhodes side similar to what Daniel Bryan got when he was going against the Authority. The Yes Movement. That's when the Yes Movement started, and then, it's one of those things. And then also, by the way, The Rock on SmackDown was the most disliked video in WWE history.
Well, you saw what just happened recently, earlier today, right? Ava, his daughter, took off her Twitter account.
She was getting death threats, man. That's just sometimes, man, dude. Wrestling fans, like, get a life, man. Get a life.
How dare you say that to the wrestling fans? We have a life.
Come on, man. Come on. You're that hard where you're going. She doesn't even use her dad's name. Like she has nothing to do with this. She's doing her own thing, and here we go.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. Now I see Memo posted something saying they posted on YouTube after the show of what The Rock said after SmackDown. What did he say after SmackDown? Did you know what he said?
Oh, he just went into things like, he loves the passion of the fans and,
Oh yeah, he did say that. Yeah.
like it's just a whole little
And when he was pointing like at his arm because he was like showing like he
the
has
goosebumps
goosebumps.
and everything. He does that all the time.
Um,
Yeah. He's just like, and again, I don't know that they thought, look, it was Rocky suck chance at Raw, man.
There was.
Again, it's going to be interesting to see which way they go with this. And also, I mean, did the CM Punk injury, I know everybody's saying, oh, Cody was supposed to win this the whole time. I'm calling bullshit on that because there's no way that you said, yes, Cody's winning it because we want all these headaches. The only way that happens is if Triple H had no clue that The Rock was being brought in with this. And I can't believe that he didn't have some idea that The Rock was being talked to about headlining WrestleMania. I mean, unless that was Vince McMahon's final, you.
I mean, there is a lot of fans out there that say that CM Punk has no business being in the WWE and that he's an injury-prone type of wrestler now because of his age. I mean, there's somebody in the chat already giving hate to CM Punk. But I also feel that, yeah, CM Punk was supposed to be the winner, and I think they did a curveball and they said, screw it, we're going to go with Cody. We spoke about this. I think if we were going to go that route, what they should have done is they probably should have given it to Gunther because I think Gunther was still.
It was Gunther, Drew, Cody, and Punk were the four that were left at the time. Again, this is going off of what I understand being Punk got injured when he took the pedigree. When he went down, his arm just popped. It popped right on it. He just came down wrong. And it was almost similar to what happened to Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero's first night in WWE, he went to do the frog splash, and he landed on the canvas and popped his whole arm off.
So it was when he did the pedigree?
I believe that's when it was. That's when he started holding his arm. And then he called
that's
over
what
the corner, and then he started talking to the ref. He wasn't holding it at any point up until then. So to me, there was time to say, hey, get with the back. My arm's hurt. Who do they want to win this? You know what I'm saying? To where they make the decision and let us know. Because at that point, Drew and Gunther were both in the match still.
If he injured it during the pedigree, then yes, it was only him and Cody. Then it makes sense for them to have turned it. And obviously, he made the right decision of saying, "Hey, look, I know my body. I know I'm not gonna be something happened, and it's probably gonna be really bad. So I'm gonna miss WrestleMania. So there's no point in me winning. So that makes sense. But I think everything started to go downhill once Sam freaking Rollins got hurt, and then all of a sudden, it's just been injury after injury after injury, and then
the allegations now Lesnar's out. I mean, again, you can only pull that little fastball every once in a while where you bring in. I still think the best meme that's out there is all of a sudden on Raw, it's Rollins and Goldberg face to face, and Cody's got his hand like this. Like, they're just messing like, hey, that's what they're going to do to do the thing, anything. But
I told you my idea. I wanted R-Truth to win the Royal Rumble. I think R-Truth had the most merchandise. He was number one in merchandise sales. So I thought it would have been a great idea to go ahead and push R-Truth. And then you could involve the Damian Priest and that whole alliance, that whole faction to go with and kind of mix them back in, because right now it kind of feels like Damian Priest is kind of lost with Money in the Bank. He hasn't cashed it in.
Well, I almost feel like what they're doing is trying to make you forget that he has it.
You think so? That's what they're trying to do?
I don't know. I just feel, like every time last night they showed him on Raw, he didn't have the briefcase.
Oh, he didn't. I didn't notice that.
I mean, again, it was a backstage vignette and things like that, but he didn't have the briefcase.
But they did the same thing with Austin Theory the year before, when they were like, he was just carrying it around, and then he barely used it at the end. He used it at the wrong time, I think. Yeah. So I hope they don't do that. I hope they don't waste it with Damian Priest. But
it's gonna be interesting, man. And again, remember, don't forget, 2 weeks, or actually not this Saturday, but the following Saturday is the Perth, Australia Elimination Chamber. So,
and who are going to be the people in the Elimination Chamber? Because
now I don't know what they're going to do. Because remember, I believe and again, this is where I also look back and go, okay, maybe Cody was supposed to win it after thinking about it. Because if it was supposed to be Cody versus Roman, Punk was going to go to Elimination Chamber, win the Elimination Chamber to take on Seth. The winner would take on Seth, the winner of the Elimination Chamber, just like the winner of the Women's Elimination Chamber goes on to fight Rhea at WrestleMania. So that's what the men's was going to do. Now the men are fighting for what?
That's a good point. What are they fighting for? Unless they want to make it a triple threat match and remove Cody out of that triple threat match. But that would even piss the people more off.
Yeah. I mean, maybe what you do is make for Gunther's the Intercontinental. You make it, but that seems a little harsh to put a elimination chamber for the title or something.
Just for Gunther. I mean, I know Gunther, but actually, you know who was the one who came out the other day? I think it might have been Dominic Mysterio, or maybe it was Ricochet. I don't know who it was. It was somebody who came out saying that Gunther's kind of ruining the Intercontinental belt because he's been holding it for so long that it's now affecting, nobody can win it, and it's affecting the fact of having somebody be able to win the Intercontinental belt. And it sucks because in a way I kind of agreed. I think it was Ricochet who said it though, but I agree with him because, like, okay, I understand you want to push Roman, and Roman is great and all that stuff, but he has the Universal Championship belt. So is Gunther's Intercontinental belt the same level as Roman? Of course not. So why carry the steroid? I know he built that belt up. It was crap before. I get it. But I think it's time for somebody to have taken it away from him by now, you know?
Who would have been that guy so far? I think, honestly, what's going to happen, I think Braun Breaker is going to be that guy at WrestleMania.
That takes it away from Gunther?
They hinted at it last night. If you saw, their Imperium was in there doing their thing, talking about his 600th day as champion celebration. And then Braun Breaker was the one that came in and ran off Imperium, kind of like, get out and this and that. So I honestly thought Braun Breaker was going to come out during the 600, but it ended up being Jey Uso. So I think Jey Uso might get the shot at Elimination Chamber.
That makes no
Braun
sense.
Breaker gets the shot at.
I think they should have had Gunther versus Jey Uso is a good match, and I would expect Jey to beat him. I think he has enough firepower to beat him and win the belt because he's still going to be able to elevate that belt. If you're going to lose it to somebody, you got to lose it to somebody who has star power. And you know Jey Uso right now with the whole lifting up his hands up and down, people are feeling that right now. So that is enough. It's not enough to challenge Roman or anything like that right now, but definitely to at least carry the Intercontinental belt. I think he has enough firepower right now.
Yeah, but also I think, again, it's one of those things to where you're beating Gunther. It means something. It means more. That's why I don't think it's going to be somebody that's on the roster right now. That's why I think it's going to be Braun Breaker. That's why I think it was going to be Brock Lesnar.
I'm glad Brock Lesnar. It is
that, or Brock was going to help elevate the belt even more by Gunther beating him. So whichever way they were going to go, you know.
But going back to Roman and The Rock, I mean, like I said, man, I'm just upset that the fans are just irate of this whole situation, and I didn't know the fans were so invested in Cody. But in a way, yesterday's Monday Night Raw bringing in Drew McIntyre, I felt that's kind of putting Cody, making him look soft, man. That's just me. I think it's not helping his image because, like, dude, like, you're not even letting, like, did you see the part where Cody was like, oh, he was gonna say something, and then Drew McIntyre immediately interrupted him and told him I'm gonna finish or something like that. So it's like they're like picking on Cody, like making it seem like Cody can't defend himself. Now there's not that many people who actually enjoy Cody being kind of like picked on and being taken advantage of. There's some people out there who do like Cody struggling, but not that many. Everybody loves the babyface. So that's why I feel like, I don't know why they're doing that. Why are they allowing?
Well, I think maybe somebody might have got talked to after that segment, but the whole reason Drew was out there was so that you don't leave Cody not making a decision and looking silly. Because why would he walk away from Seth? Why would Seth walk away from him without getting an answer? Is it me or is it Roman? Drew came out there to interrupt that part. That was all, I believe, you know, and again, everything that was said in between was whatever. They went back and forth. They bantered a little bit. But Drew's sole purpose was to go out there to make sure that Cody does not say an answer because we don't want it to be said.
I actually saw
Make
somebody.
it soft. We can't make him that much softer by, you know, oh, I'm not going to give you an answer. No, you didn't give me an answer last week. Then you went to SmackDown and you gave your title shot to Rock. So you're going to give me an answer tonight. That's if Drew doesn't come out, that's how it's got to be. You know what I'm saying? And what's interesting is this Thursday, there might be a whole nother swerve, man.
Yeah, because the Thursday is the press conference, right?
Thursday's
For
a presser,
WrestleMania.
and it's like, I mean, when you look at it, it's odd. The presser's odd.
Now, this is taking place in Las Vegas, right?
Yes, during Super Bowl week, they picked Las Vegas, I believe, as, you know, because all the people are there. Everybody's there. It's a free press conference. Everybody's already
Also,
there.
fans can be out there too.
Yes.
Oh,
And they made
wow.
sure to say it's free, and you already got Super Bowl fans there, so got nothing to do that day. Boop, you're in.
Wow. So if you're a fan, you could go out there and say Rocky sucks.
Yep, you can chant. We want Cody. Rocky sucks. You can do whatever you want to do.
Wow.
And I don't know. Did you hear what Bully Ray said?
No, what did he say?
The way they can save Cody. It was on Busted Open Radio, man.
Okay.
And dude, I thought about this and I was like, wow. He goes, so you know how the press conference has the big long table, right?
Yes.
He's like, you set 2 chairs there. So The Rock comes out at one head of the table. Roman comes out at the other head of the table. So they're both at the head of the table.
Mm-hmm.
Cody's there, you know, in the middle, you know, area there, and have The Rock say, there's one person I want to acknowledge, and that is Cody Rhodes for giving me the opportunity to fight you at WrestleMania. So he gets the acknowledgement from The Rock, the head of the table, acknowledging him. That's kind of how Bully Ray worked. It went further into it, but I didn't watch.
So to kind of win over the fans all over again.
Yes, and then also to bolster Cody, because why the hell does Cody give up his main event?
Because
you know
Cody's like soft.
Well, yeah, if you want to go that way, yeah. And then the other thing that some people have said, and you know, again, WWE has not said it's Roman Rock at WrestleMania 40.
No.
Not said it. Have not said Seth and Cody. Not said it. Some people were like, what if they make the announcement that WrestleMania 41 is in Las Vegas and will be headlined by The Rock versus Roman Reigns then? And then Cody cashes in or whatever you want to say, and he gets the main event at 40.
I think you're backtracking if you do that, though.
What? They never said it's coming this WrestleMania.
I understand
they
that.
They have been very clear to say Rock Roman at WrestleMania. They haven't said 40. They haven't said WrestleMania in Philly. They've said WrestleMania. They've made it very clear. Roman at WrestleMania.
Yes, but Cody said, if I'm not mistaken, when he was in front of Roman, not this WrestleMania. Did he say? I think he said this WrestleMania. I think the problem what hurt Cody was when he got in front of Roman. He painted it so like you own the ring, you own the cameras, you own the fans, and I want that. And then you just handed it all off to The Rock. I think Cody should have never done that in that segment. He should have gone ahead and say, you know, if he because he already knew it was gonna be The Rock. What they should have kind of said in that segment is, look, I want the belt. But before I settle and get the belt with you, I want to settle somebody up. Or you know what? Let me say this differently. Instead of when he was gonna go ahead and acknowledge that he was gonna go and not challenge Roman Reigns, that's when you should have kicked in Seth Rollins' song, and Seth Rollins should have been on SmackDown and come out and said, and then now put into that situation where Cody has to decide between Roman and Seth. And then now, all of a sudden, it doesn't seem like Cody went ahead and just handed it off to The Rock. It seems more like Cody had to make a decision. And because of all the history he has with Seth Rollins, he says, yo, I'm going to handle Seth Rollins first, and then I'm coming after you, Roman. And then it would have probably worked out a little bit better. I think where he messed up was the fact that he just pointed everything saying, hey, I want everything that you own. And then, like you said, he handed
but
it
he
over
also
to The
said,
Rock.
I'm going to take everything from you.
Exactly. But you're going to, but after he says that, he then goes, he's like, but not right now. I'm going to give it to somebody else who's in front.
He's going to, because the head of the table is going to get taken from him first by The Rock. And then Cody's going to clean up and take the title from him. And now Roman's got nothing.
So you think The Rock is going to beat Roman?
No, we talked about this the other day. I don't think anybody beats Roman. The only way he beats Roman is if they say no titles are on the line. And then you still hurt Roman, depending on how you beat him. Again, depending on how you beat him, you still hurt Roman if The Rock wins.
I like Josh saying, what up, Sean and Frankie? The WWE fans are a bunch of cryberries. I really feel that they are, man. Like, everybody's going ahead and complaining about this.
It's the Cody Army, dude. It's the Cody Army.
Yo, but come on, man. When have you heard this Cody Army? I've never heard of that. Like, we've been asking for The Rock. Everybody gets all excited. You get all these views every time The Rock comes to WWE for a split minute. Last time he came with Pat McAfee, it was a huge, huge moment for WWE. And all of a sudden, now we're complaining about this. Just man up, man. Like, that's it. Just let it be, man. If they want to do Rock versus Roman, okay, I'm fine with it because we've been asking for it. My only issue is that we already know the outcome. That's why I rather it be. I wish it would have been like what I told you. Like, I wish it would have been Cody, Roman, and then Rock as a referee, because
I thought they were honestly going to do Rock Roman at Elimination Chamber. It's the first overseas premium live event they're doing ever, besides Saudi, which is whatever, but it's a WWE pay-per-view premium live event overseas. And right now you've got Rhea Nia as your main event.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, the good thing at least is that we're gonna finally see Becky in the Elimination Chamber because she did one last night.
Yes.
So that will be the first time she's in an Elimination Chamber. So that should be fun. And I know Liv Morgan is gonna be fighting for a spot as well, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm pretty sure she's gonna win. So hopefully she's in it as well, because we haven't seen her since she made her return to Royal Rumble. And then, what about Jade Cargill? Is Jade Cargill gonna be in kind of put in this Elimination Chamber?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, or Naomi.
No, but she's staying on SmackDown, I believe. I believe she's staying SmackDown. She was
in Jade Cargill? No, Jade Cargill hasn't been announced where she's gonna stay.
No,
Naomi
she showed up in all blue. No, she showed up in all blue talking to Nick Aldis on Friday night.
Yeah, but she hasn't guaranteed. She hasn't.
No, she hasn't been guaranteed anything yet.
Because she could still dress orange red and show up on Monday night.
Yeah, but I don't think they put her in the elimination. I don't think you do that. Like, okay, you eliminated her from the Royal Rumble. Now you bring her in. She gets beat because she's not winning the Elimination Chamber.
But look, Sean, let me rewind a little bit here.
Sorry.
Because I remember a while back when Jade Cargill got signed by WWE, you mentioned to me, hey, when are we going to bring Jade Cargill? And I mentioned Royal Rumble. And you said to me, no, not Royal Rumble. It's too big and all that stuff. And they brought her in Royal Rumble. And obviously there was factors, her situation with her mother.
No, but they did right by her too, though. They made her look good, and then she got eliminated. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, my worry with Jade was this, man. In AEW, she was a presence. In WWE, she's up there with the tops. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's a Becky, she's a Bianca. Jade, her name's gonna be mentioned in those. She's not gonna be mentioned, like with the Chelseas, the Piper Nivens. That was my worry with them putting her in the Royal Rumble. Is she's not? I knew she wasn't gonna win the Royal Rumble because she's not gonna go main event WrestleMania.
Nah.
So my thought was, okay, keep her out past that, and then that way. But I think they did good. They brought her out. They showcased her. She threw Nia over the top rope, and then she got eliminated through just not paying attention.
I say you bring an Elimination Chamber, and the reason you bring an Elimination Chamber is because she did eliminate Becky Lynch. So now you could start bringing in some of that involved in it, because Becky Lynch got eliminated there by her, and then I'm trying to figure out who else was besides Nia. She eliminated somebody else, if I'm not mistaken. But I think you could create some, and obviously they did that little showboat when it was Bianca Belair and her when they were lifting. Like Bianca had, I forgot who Bianca was holding up on the top, and then Becky
He had
and
Becky. Jade had Becky, and
yeah, I don't remember who
Bianca had.
Do you remember, guys? Do you remember
Bailey.
who
I think
Bianca?
it was Bailey.
Did she
I want
have
to say it
Bailey?
was Bailey. I want to say it's Bailey.
Yeah,
I believe it
maybe
was
maybe.
Bailey.
I am happy for Bailey, and I am happy that she is. I love the way they spend it off.
Yes, that was I was
They
gonna
hit-
say, because I was worried when I saw EO's name pop up with Bailey. I'm like, how the hell are they gonna spin this?
I like that. I
They
like
did
it.
it very well. I thought it was great. The way it was the quick boom.
Yeah,
She
man.
says it in Japanese. They all kind of froze, like, what?
Yeah, I
And
thought.
it just
I think
and
they.
the other thing I love, Dakota wasn't there.
What happened? Why wasn't she there?
I think what's gonna happen is, again, remember, I've always said I believe she's the mastermind to get Bailey out.
Okay.
So I think ultimately Bailey, she's going to come and be like, "Oh, Bailey, I'm on your team." And I think ultimately she screws Bailey.
Not a bad idea.
Now, not saying screws her at WrestleMania, but maybe before the build up to WrestleMania.
Nah.
But I mean, it's one
If
of
you're
those
gonna
things.
screw her, you gotta screw her in WrestleMania. That's the only place you can screw
Or
her.
maybe Bailey figures it out, and then at WrestleMania she knows Dakota's going to do something, and she's ready for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like that's kind of like Bailey showing that she's smarter than the rest of them, like kind of the things she's showing. So she knows the games Dakota's going to play. Maybe Dakota goes to pull something, she flips it around, bam, hits EO, and 1, 2, 3, Bailey's your new champion.
All right. So we know they got Bailey and Io Sky correct. How do you think WWE, or what does WWE have to do to correct this whole Rock Cody Roman situation, in your opinion?
Oof, man, I don't
I'm
know.
putting you on the spot.
No, I mean, I the easy way is to say, but they've already gone. To me, they've gone too far.
I think
They've
so
already
too.
gone. I mean, you had those two face to face, and you went to black, and SmackDown ended with those two face to face. You already had Cody cut the promo, saying, bam, I want to take everything away from you, but not right now. Like, I don't know how you come back from that. That's the part that I don't know. Like I don't know what people were thinking in the back that said, okay, we're going to do this. And I almost feel like now they're like, okay, let's see how the crowd reacts tonight. And then we'll figure it out from there almost. It's like, I just like, but in it, Cap for Life, people are upset about Cody not getting a chance to finish the story. Do you think he was going to beat Roman at WrestleMania? That's my problem. Like, did you think he's going to go to WrestleMania and win?
I thought he would.
No way. It's not happening.
I thought it was.
I believe if you've already gone 1,400 days and you need another 100, I think it's right around Survivor Series is when he passes Hulk Hogan as the longest reigning world heavyweight champion. And I get it. That was Vince's plan. That was what Vince wanted to do. But do you think that they put 1,400 days in building Roman to say, okay, Cody, here you go, because fans are crying?
Well, this is the thing. You're getting Cody to get to the same level as Roman. And if Cody can stand the same and get the same fan base, because again, we're noticing a change here. We're noticing that the three biggest stars right now, obviously, are the three that we have on the screen. But before that, Cody had no business being in that picture. It was always The Rock and Roman. So now Cody's name is elevating to a point where we're like, okay, hold on a second. This guy is actually.
But that's because he won the Rumble. If
No,
you flip it around and Cody doesn't win the Rumble, we're not talking about this right now. We're not. Cody's not in the main event picture if he doesn't win the Rumble.
You're right. Unless they were gonna put him some way somehow in the elimination chamber, because then CM Punk would have challenged Seth
but then
Rollins.
Seth. There's no Roman. There's no Roman in the picture. Is what I'm saying. There's no Cody Roman.
Well, if CM Punk would have won the Royal Rumble, he challenges Seth freaking Rollins, and then Cody would have gone to elimination chamber, won the elimination chamber, and then they could do a 3-way between all three of them at WrestleMania. That you could have done, but that's not the case. That's why I'm telling you, like Cody's starting to elevate to a point where a lot of fans, he's starting to become that stardom, that wrestler that everybody's loving and wants to see on a continuous basis. Every time he comes out, he's getting a pop. His merchandise is number one. Everything is
It's number 2 right now.
who's number one right now?
It's Reigns, Cody, Rock.
Look at that. Those three guys. You understand me? So he's getting to that, like that image. Like, dude, like I'm telling you, that picture that you have right there. Cody had no business to be there. Especially what? Cody's been with WWE for what, 2 years now? He had no 2 years ago, he was in no at all anywhere near those two guys. And now look where he's at. I mean, I give props to him, and obviously I give props to the WWE. They've done a phenomenal job. And just creating this controversy helps the WWE because at the end of the day, hey, look,
Can I tell you
controversy brings
something? There was a I gotta find it. I think it was Meltzer who put in a thing the day before it's on X.
why you
Go
find
finish your thought while I'm looking for it. I'm sorry.
what I was gonna go ahead and say is that it's so WWE loves controversy. My brother hit me up earlier today, and he told me, Frankie, he was watching. I think it was some of the players who are in the Super Bowl, and they asked one of them
No, it
about
was
Cody Rhodes.
Kittle. It was George Kittle.
There you go. Look at that. So if you're asking George Kittle about WWE, are you kidding me? That's how you know that controversy sells, man, because you got the Super Bowl, and then they all of a sudden now you're asking one of the tight end about wrestling, and keep in mind they nailed it having the Las Vegas with the whole press conference for WrestleMania. So like this is good, even though it's bad it looks bad on The Rock. This is really good for WWE because everybody's tuned in right now. It's draining out everybody when it comes to their competition. Obviously, nobody was close. I think AEW is a way second place, but overall, like WWE is killing it because all of us want to tune in. I want to find out what happens now on Thursday because I thought it was just going to be a regular press conference, but now that you're saying that fans are allowed to be there, hell yeah, I want to see what the hell's what's gonna happen. And then on SmackDown, come on, it's look, man. Whether we want to say that they blew it or they didn't, they still nailed it because it brought controversy, and controversy sells at the end of the day.
Controversy creates cash, buddy. That's Eric
Hell yeah.
Bischoff's book right there.
Yep. So that's
Cannot find the thing, but basically, they had 7,500 tickets sold for the SmackDown. Once it got announced that Cody was going to be there to confront Roman, I believe it was the SmackDown. It jumped up to the sold out. They sold out 2,500 tickets in less than a day. Because
I mean,
of this, the whole thing going on now with the whole controversy. Like, what are they doing? And again, that's why sometimes I think, like, right now they're like, hey, this is great. Right now we can let it go because you still have a month to figure it out.
And I see here a couple comments. First, just to say something with Memo, you're absolutely right. I don't want to talk about Miami SmackDown because I was pissed that all those guys came out, but it makes sense. Why? Because of the Royal Rumble. So I get it. It makes sense. And I spoke to Sean about this. I was like, man, I was so mad that they got The Rock, they got Cody, they got everybody. At least we got Trick Williams. Anyways, on the other side though, Cap is saying, did Damian ever cash the Money in the Bank? No, he didn't. And the other thing is, No Doubt writes, who says they want Roman to surpass Hogan? Exactly. I don't want him to surpass Hogan. Why? Who cares? I don't care if he surpasses Hogan or not. I don't mind Hogan holding that particular history in the wrestling books, but if Roman passes him, okay, whatever. I'm fine with him not breaking that record. That's how I look at it.
Frankie Frezko, the new owner of WWE and TKO, made the decision. Done.
Is it that big of a thing? I mean, I think it's fine. Hulk Hogan is still a legend in WWE, so it's like whether he passes it or not, it doesn't matter.
Yes, but there's a lot after he did what he did and what he said and other things that happened. There's a lot that would be okay with him losing some namesake in the WWE. Quite a few.
Okay.
Quite a few. Especially when he went with some of the how he went about the apology, I guess I should say.
Yeah, but come on, man. Like, so now it goes back to that comment where WWE fans are such cryberry babies, and now we're sensitive. Come on, man. Like, look, we're here to watch wrestling, dude. Like, it's okay. You know, Hulk Hogan is still a legend. Like, it's not, so he made some comments, or maybe he did some things that we don't agree with, but you shouldn't hold him back. It wasn't like what he did was the same equivalent to what Vince did. So it's like, come on, like I hate that about the wrestling community when sometimes they just take it to extreme. It's fine. Everybody, you know, what Vince did and now the Brock situation, that's on a different level. I agree with that 100%. Getting the Brock out of the video game and all that stuff, I completely agree with that because that is just what they did was awful. But like the other stuff, I don't think anything elevates to that to what they did. Obviously, the last thing which was horrible that nobody ever likes to talk about is about CB. Uh, but besides that, do you think? I mean, you're really gonna like does it matter? Like I don't. For me, it
I can
doesn't.
care less either way they do
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
I do know people have spoken out that they did not want him to return for some of the Legends nights.
Damn, bro, that's crazy. But that's also maybe it's all Vince in that. Maybe things have changed now that there's a different
No,
ownership.
it wasn't Vince. It wasn't Vince. It was the young talent.
Sucks.
It was some of the guys that took what he said and how he came off on his apology as okay, you're still not taking any accountability for it. You're just pushing it off on everything else. So that's where some people were rubbed wrong.
Wrestling drama. That's crazy.
It's not drama, man. It's again, I've never been in that position. I'll never be in that position that they were put into.
Me neither.
So I would not be able to sit and talk on it. But again, it's one of those things to where, but also look, man, like this is never going to happen again. If Roman does get there, that's it. If Roman doesn't get there, there's never going to be another champion that long ever. That's gone. Those days are gone.
That's fine. That's fine. But then look, you put The Rock versus Roman, and we all know that The Rock is not going to win because he's not going to wrestle full time again. So it's like
we're pushing to wrestle more full time. That was part of the thing also on the TKO. Like he wants this match to go a full 30 to 45 minutes. He wants this to be a legit main event match.
But if he wins, is he going to be consistently showing up to SmackDown or showing up to Raw or showing up to any of these? I mean, SmackDown in particular, because obviously...
Let me ask you a question. If he wins the title, the guy who has the title, does he show up to SmackDown consistently? Does he show up to...
But
so there's no difference there. Is what I'm saying.
No, there is a difference. I will tell you what's the difference. Unless The Rock turns heel some way, somehow. The difference is whenever Roman is not around, Paul Heyman makes up for him. That's the difference. You don't feel Roman being gone as much because
but The Rock could just come in, cut a promo, do his thing, and leave. He could open the night, do his stuff, and leave.
Is he willing to do that on a consistent basis, at least maybe twice a month, or maybe once every 2 months or something like that? I don't know. I didn't think he would, but it would be if he does, amazing. Because The Rock for me is one of my
man. They gave him $30 million. Like right now, bro, like this. Make this what it is, and make the UFL what it is, and there's your deals, man.
Memorize 2 part-timers. Yeah, it's pretty sad.
No, it's what it is, man.
2 part-timers.
And then also remember, next year, the end of this year, they go to USA.
Yeah, that's why. So whoever SmackDown is going to be the brand, obviously, because they're going to be in USA, and then obviously Raw is Netflix. So I feel Raw is going to take a step down because of them going to Netflix. So
I think they're going to use it more of a PLE type show. Honestly, I just think that they're going to I think they're gonna change it. Like right now, we're watching the NXT guys get called up so much.
Yeah, you saw that? Yeah.
I think they end up making the CW, the NXT show, more branded for like Raw and SmackDown on regular TV, and then your Netflix show will be your weekly premium live to blow off feuds. So then you tune in because it'll be basically like watching on Peacock. You know, and here in the US, it's different though, because we still have Peacock. Internationally, they don't have Peacock. There's no more. Everything goes to Netflix. The whole library is on Netflix for them.
Yeah.
So in the US, it's a little different because the contract is for a little bit longer.
Now, the other thing we were talked about, I think it was you who mentioned it to me when we spoke, was the fact that what's the possibility if The Rock wins, and then it's all a big setup for eventually CM Punk when he comes back from injury to be The Rock versus CM Punk. That would be.
And again, I don't know how long his tricep tear is. I want to say it's 3 months, 4 months. So that puts him about June.
Mm-hmm.
And then think about this. How about this for doing it full circle? Cody wins the title, beats Seth. Okay, just throwing what we kind of think is going to happen. Cody beats Seth, wins the title. Doesn't finish the story, but he wins the title. Rock beats Roman. CM Punk comes back, beats Rock. They combine the titles at SummerSlam, CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes. Cody finishes the story at Survivor Series, beating CM Punk and putting the titles together. Cody goes into the new era. That's August, so they would still have, I think, October is when they go to October, November-ish. No, what is it? January they go, but October, November, and December they're in Lux because their contract with Fox ends in October and they begin in USA on January. So you got 2 weeks, 2 months there. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So at that point, do they finish the title at that point?
I don't know.
And then I mean, we keep forgetting this too, is Damien's got to cash in the briefcase, win or lose at some point.
Yeah, that's why I was hoping that maybe Seth Rollins would wrestle in an elimination chamber. Like he'll be in a match in there, and that way Damian Priest can come in, cash it, and then it'll be Cody versus Damian Priest at WrestleMania day one. You understand me? Because then at least we're getting something new, and we're not getting Seth possibly re-injuring himself. You know, obviously worse than what he is. Because even though he's gonna fight. I would have him fighting elimination chamber. It could be a quick fight. It doesn't have to be something so like he needs to put in a 30-minute match or something like that. You understand me? So that's the reason why I was hoping that, or you could even do a twist. You know, Seth is there, he's talking, and then all of a sudden Damian just comes and attacks him and cashes in, and he doesn't even have to wrestle.
They just have to make sure that they say he's been released because they keep saying he's not fit or whatever they say. He's not released for matches right now. That's why he comes out for the promos, because he's not released to full duty or whatever they're calling it. So they got to release him. If they do that, then yeah, you can do that. You could do that.
Yeah. I think that's the thing, because my issue also.
And the other thing is that WrestleMania, both nights are already sold out, so it doesn't matter what matches you put there.
True.
I mean, to be honest, it's like,
but you don't want Seth freaking Rollins to get re-injure himself even worse.
That's why I almost feel like you're right on that call of McIntyre, Cody, and Seth, a triple threat. For this reason only, Seth doesn't have to do anything. Seth gets hit, he rolls out, he come into a couple things, gets hit, rolls out, and he doesn't have to sit there and wrestle a one-on-one match. Because I have a feeling if it's a one-on-one match, it's going to look pretty bad.
You know, you could do that. So you put Drew in the elimination chamber. He wins the elimination chamber, and then he can now challenge for the
he goes
Rollins.
Because then that way,
be a 3-match.
Again, that way you take the precautions. Also, is Seth? It doesn't get cleared, and now it's Drew versus Cody. Winner gets the title. So you've covered both bases instead of having to change a whole match or anything. You can kind of go, okay, the triple threat's off. It'll now be one-on-one. Drew versus Cody, winner takes the title. And then at that point, also, interestingly enough, you could have Drew or Damian come out maybe after Cody wins it. And it's like, oh, here they go. They're going to screw Cody. And Cody ends up winning and beating Damian and keeping the belt. You know what I'm saying? Like you could have the title get turned, turned in that way too. And the other thing too is that the interesting thing is, and I know it's not going to happen because it makes no sense. But could you imagine if they're doing the head of the table fight, Damian comes out, cashes in, wins those titles, but they finished for the head of the table. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, it wouldn't happen. Don't get me wrong. That's way, 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 way too much going on. Hopefully they don't do that because I'd be lost if they did. But that way you get the belts off of Roman. Because I've always said when they had those triple threats, the 4-way, I was like, there's your chance to get the belt off of them without having them lose.
Yeah.
And they just don't do it, man. They just don't do it. And I'm not saying they're going to combine all 3 belts, but there's been a lot of talk lately that at SummerSlam there might be which is why I think WWE knows also there's going to be a drop off when they go to Netflix.
Oh yeah,
there's going to be a drop off. So talent's going to want to be, I think they're going to end up doing something different to where you're not going to need the brands anymore. That's why I think NXT becomes more of a brand like Raw and SmackDown. And they're probably going to end up having to rename that show and put NXT like on YouTube or something. I'm just being serious because I don't see that like you're going to give unless you extend SmackDown to 3 hours and now Raw goes to 2 hours on Netflix, but they're going to have no commercial breaks on Raw. And what's your crowd going to look like? What is your audience on Raw going to look like now with Netflix? I don't know.
And the other thing,
big thing.
The other thing, what you mentioned is, for me, it sucks that NXT is kind of getting downgraded because obviously you saw that Tiffany made her way over to SmackDown. You see Braun Breaker now making his way to SmackDown. Carmelo has been featured a couple times in SmackDown. Trick Williams has been now featured for the first time when he came in Miami on SmackDown, and it's disappointing. And I have to admit something to you guys who tuned in. I always said that NXT sucks, and I kid you not, man. I underestimated it. I started watching it and watching it, and the quality is entertaining. It's very, very good wrestling. I enjoy it. It's funny, but the way they built these guys up, you start falling for them and be like, okay, cool, man. I'm actually now invested with this wrestler. I'm actually tuned in. So it sucks that all of a sudden now they're moving away from remember what we used to speak about maybe keeping it a third brand and then just developing the guys and making it happen like that. It sucks that it looks like now when you finally have an audience and you have the potential of a Trick Williams to actually headline NXT. Let's keep it real. This whole Carmelo Trick situation is good. It's very good. It's very entertaining. I mean, I know we're doing the show right now, but I'm recording it and I'm gonna go watch it after we're done here. But it's fun. It's entertaining. And now to see them probably jump now into the main roster, and like you said, the main roster is going to be SmackDown. So I'm pretty sure they're putting all their eggs in their basket on putting all the best wrestlers in the SmackDown brand. It's disappointing. I'm a little bit disappointed about that because it looks like what they're gonna do with NXT. I hope not, but it looks like
and again, I'm spitballing here, and no doubt says why a drop off. My first impression was it would result in growth. I think over time it will be resulting in growth. I think more eyes will watch it over time. The problem is right now, Friday nights, 8:00, you're watching SmackDown. Monday nights at 8:00, you're watching Raw. If I have it on Netflix, I'll just watch it
anytime. Yeah.
I don't have to be there. It's not like must see. And again, so you're right there. It probably will result in growth over the time, DVR and save it and watch it later. But what I'm saying is the eyes aren't going to be there right away. And a lot of people go off the results of the overnight. That's where most of the ratings, when you get the ratings, is from the overnight. And I just don't know how that's going to, and I don't know how you judge that on Netflix because that's totally different than on TV. So
and that's
sure how they're going to do it.
And that's another thing. Like, obviously, you already got this huge contract with Netflix, so the same thing, like you said, you pointed out with WrestleMania. I mean, they don't have to go all out anymore with Monday Night Raw, like they've been doing
Well, again,
recently.
5 years, at the 5 year mark, they can cut the contract. So they've got to produce something. I mean, again, I don't know what producing numbers are for a streaming platform. I don't know what you count. How many people sign up because Raw's there? I don't know. I mean, how are you going to count it? I don't know.
Well, how do they count the live events when on Peacock? Is there a way to count them? Because I'm assuming that's probably the same way they're going to do with Netflix, either by
I mean,
subscriptions
I'm
or by
sure
how
there
many.
is, but how do you know that that's the reason? Like, just because I watch Raw, don't mean I got Netflix for Raw. Is what I'm saying. Is like,
Well,
how
there's
do
a
you know
lot of
they're
people.
getting drawn there to watch Raw? Again, Netflix is probably the best one to go with because most people have Netflix already.
But did you
You know what I'm
see?
saying? So
But all the live events are also going to Netflix too. Once the
no,
whole
not
also
in
they're
the
staying in
US.
Peacock.
International, yes, they're staying in Peacock until I think 26
Oh, I
in
didn't
the
know that.
US. In
I
the
thought they
US
were.
only.
I
In the
thought
US
everything was
only because Peacock owns that right until I think it's
okay.
26.
I thought everything was going to
But
even live events next year.
once that deal expires, it goes to Netflix.
Oh, gotcha. Sam, damn, that sucks because that means you want to be you got to be subscribed to both Peacock because you want to watch the live events. You got to be subscribed to Netflix because you want to watch Monday Night Raw. So now you got to subscribe to both of them instead of just one of them. Damn, that sucks. Well, business, man, these people. And did you we've been talking WWE, but did you hear about the whole new streaming thing that just happened that they announced just a couple minutes
Yeah, with
maybe
ESPN and Fox and
Warner?
what's the third one? Warner.
Warner. Yeah.
Well,
And
that's
they were
AEW, huh? Mr. AEW.
and that was
You
one
know
of
what?
the
Hold
things.
on a minute. Hold on a minute. That'll get us to our next topic. There we go.
Oh my God! Now we're gonna lose all the fans. Nah, nobody's gonna tune in. But all right, so we'll go that route for just a minute. So they obviously now there's a streaming. All these companies are combining together, and they're planning to do a huge like sports situation. And it was between Fox, it was between ESPN, it was between Warner, and they mentioned all the sports except AEW. So AEW in no shape or form is involved or was mentioned on any of this. So is this the sign that shows that once their contract with Warner is done, they're gonna leave? They're gonna be like, no,
Oh,
we're not
remember,
resigning them.
Tony's got an announcement tomorrow on AEW Dynamite.
He has an announcement every week.
Well,
That's
every
just
time he needs to spike ratings, he throws out an announcement.
yeah. And I'm pretty sure his announcement is gonna be something dealing with Stardom. So now if you guys don't know, there was drama. There was a little obviously, the whole situation with The Rock and all that. So Tony kind of wanted some of that drama to
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah. I
into
got X.
AEW.
I got to X out. I got to X out.
So there's a guy. So if you guys don't know, Stardom, another wrestling, you had the owner or the guy who was the head guy in charge, Rossi Ogawa, I believe is how you pronounce his name.
Yeah, he was a
And
figurehead.
and he finally his contract was ended by Stardom. And what happened, the controversy that's going on is that apparently this guy was the one who was feeding all this information of what AEW to WWE. Now, do you believe that? Do you really think
No.
WWE cares about
I think he
what
was
AEW?
feeding talent to WWE.
I
Kari
think so too.
Sane, Goulet, whatever her name is. I think that was happening, but I don't think they were like, oh, because what does it matter? And I told you also, Tony Khan, if you're stupid enough to trust a guy named Rossi Ogawa
Yes.
with your AEW plans, you deserve what you get, jackass.
But they're also saying that because of him being in charge, Ogawa, Tony Khan wasn't able to establish that type of relationship with Stardom.
Because can I tell you something? And I thought about this afterwards.
Okay.
What is the company that AEW has a relationship with?
Man, that's pissing me off, man. Because it looks like, why are they doing that? Like, why do they keep trying to get these like handshake relationships with every single
But what is the one federation they got a good deal with? What is that federation?
New Japan.
Yeah, and what has he done to New Japan?
He's probably brought it down more than what it is because all his fighters always lose
He
compared
stole
when they
Jay
fight.
White. He stole Aussie Open,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, he
Bill
did.
Ospreay.
Yeah,
He don't know. Why would you want to partner with him, bro? He waits for contracts to expire. You had people work for him, and then he offers them more money.
but I think that's the reason why some of these companies are doing because now they're doing with the Lucha Libre and
CMLL.
yes, and now you had Brian Danielson. He fought this past Saturday against what was his name? Hold on, I wrote it down because Hechicero. So that was a good fight, but again, it just they're doing something in Dynamite this weekend where you have the Blackpool Combat Club fighting three of the ones from the CMLL. So it's like he's trying to take seeing who is like
Works, and
who hits.
he's gonna
Yeah,
sign, offer him money, and get him back over
who
here.
hits it? Let me take him.
It's like, dude, are you?
Terrible.
TNA saw that and was like, all right, we're done. We're
Yeah.
done. We're not going to lose all this time. They lost Ethan Page to them, by the way, during that TNA. That was Ethan Page was the one that left TNA and went there, and the TNA's like, okay, we see the writing on the wall here. We see what you're doing. Because yes, it is a platform for these to get bigger, in front of more eyes, quote unquote.
True.
But also it's a free recruiting tool for Tony Khan. If you like him, guess what? What are you making over there? When's your contract expire? And he's mad about this guy because he's doing the same thing because he can't get to the talent at Stardom. But also the interesting thing is WWE is going to let I cannot say her name, Gulela, whatever her name is. Rossi Ogawa is already making another women's wrestling federation. She's going back to Japan and she's going to headline it. And there's a lot of Stardom talent that is going to leave to go to him as well, which I don't know how that works because I don't know how contracts work in Japan, but a lot of them love working for this guy.
Well,
so it's not just him. It's he fed the talent, but dude, if he fed any AEW secrets, shame on you for telling him the AEW secrets. And Tony Khan, you deserve it.
Yeah, man, that was a bad. If he did do that, that's idiotic, and that's not good business from his end because you don't want to feed information of what you're planning to do in AEW, especially if you want to grow. Because then, if you start doing that, not only is WWE going to find out, which I really hardly think that's the case, but your other competition is going to find out. TNA is going to find out. And if you haven't noticed,
what is Tony going to do that hasn't been done in wrestling? What is Triple H going to do that hasn't been done in wrestling? There's not a lot that hasn't been done. You usually repurpose something.
Of course.
You might change something, tweak something here and there, but there's not a lot you're going to be able to do.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going
to and what carries most of these wrestling company is the wrestler's talent and his ability to sell himself, the ability for him to.
And right now, Tony's making a big mistake. Let me tell you something. So Triple H and WWE were interested in Camille. Used to be the NWA champion, Camille. I don't know if you remember her.
Yes.
Well, Tony Khan offered her more money, and it looks like she's going to go to AEW. So all he's doing is just outbidding. And the reason she's going there is because she's going to get to be able to do whatever else she wants on the outside. How many people can you do this with? Like
look at Mercedes. There's rumors saying that Mercedes is now finally coming to AEW as well.
Because I think this is the money.
Yeah.
Because look, WWE now, of course, with under TKO, they're not going to pay a lot of money for, and I hate to say it this way, for Mercedes Moné because she's not going to bring the eyes that others do. I'm sorry. I like Mercedes Moné. I think she puts asses in the seats. Don't get me wrong. But Cody Rhodes is making $3 million a year. If Mercedes Moné wants $3 million a year, if you're WWE, do you pay her the same amount you're paying Cody Rhodes?
No, you don't. And I will say this, it's cheaper to just bring your up and coming talent from NXT and bring them up, and they're gonna get the same pop because slowly but surely, Tiffany is gonna grow and Tiffany's gonna be big in WWE as well, and it's gonna be way more cheaper than Sasha Banks. So it's just unfortunate that he keeps outbidding and just paying all these people to just come, and then at the same time they're struggling when it comes to ticket sales. And I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about that because I know
let's go. We got a little bit of time.
I know in Busted Open they had mentioned that there's an issue. There's an issue about the ticket sales with AEW. The fact that a lot of people are not going and purchasing tickets to go watch live events. The viewership is down. I mean, they did pretty good this past Saturday, and the last couple of Saturdays they have been doing a little bit better. But they were talking about it, and I agree with them 100%, was the simple fact that AEW has an issue, and what they mentioned on their Bully and all them was that you don't know who in God's green earth some of these wrestlers, number one, are because he keeps bringing all these guys from like all these different wrestling organizations. But number two is that you don't know who a baby face and who is a heel in AEW. This weekend, I'm sorry, tomorrow night, you got Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Adam Page, and they made a great point. You don't know if Hangman is a heel or is he the babyface because Swerve is popular right now, and it makes sense. Like everybody's kind of like going into Swerve's house, and all that stuff is growing, but then you don't know if Swerve is a heel or a babyface himself either. It's so annoying and so confusing. You don't know how to cheer. A couple weeks ago, I think it was last week, you had the same situation with Jeff Hardy and with Moxley. You have Jeff Hardy all of a sudden. Is he a heel? Is he still a babyface? Moxley, Blackpool Combat Club, is he a heel? I mean, that faction is supposed to be a bad, like they're known for being bad. What the hell's going on here? So I think that's the problem, and they pointed that out perfectly, and I agree with them. I feel like no matter what, they need to correct that. They need to be able to fix that.
I think what happened to them was the MJF factor.
Oh, and that too. MJF's not being there.
What happened to, no, well, I think this is what happened to Tony Khan. He said, MJF, we necessarily made him did they ever really turn him babyface? Have they ever really turned him baby? No, the fans turned him babyface. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like they're trying that with everybody.
That's terrible.
They're trying that with everybody, but the problem is this: they're not emotionally invested in half of your crowd, half of your talent. They're not emotionally invested in. They're invested in John Moxley because they want to watch him bleed and go through thumbtacks. You know what I'm saying? They're not investing him in any other way right now. And John Moxley, to me, should be like one of your guys that's just like up there. To me now, he's just blood. You look at him, your blood and hardcore matches. That's what I think of Moxley right now. I don't think of him as a main event guy anymore. I look at him as a death match guy. Put him in a death match, blow something up, throw him through glass. There you go.
Throw him through glass. Yeah.
No,
I mean,
that's the problem though. Is like I'm not going to get emotionally invested in that guy. Why? Because when he goes through glass, I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna be like, hell yeah, throw him again.
And Sean, not only that, man, they keep making these. I always thought that the triple tag team, the triple championship belts,
trios.
Trios. There you go. Not triple, my bad. The trios was a good idea, but now I'm starting to think that it wasn't such a good idea because
we talked about it at the beginning of AEW. We said, how many damn factions can you have?
Yeah,
remember, go back to the circle. It was Cody's group. It was MJF in the Pinnacle. Everybody, it was like gangs, man. It was like gang war.
And not only that, but now if you have a faction that is bad, you got 3 guys that are going to become bad, right? So now you got to find
Jericho, the Jericho Appreciation Society. What happened? Only 2 guys survived that. Jericho and Sammy. Everybody else is whatever. I mean, Danny Garcia survived because he dances.
But now they put Danny Garcia with FTR.
FTR, yeah.
So now you not only do you have 3 bad guys, 3 heels, but now you got to find 3 baby faces to go up against those guys. So it creates more issues because now you don't know who is who. Look, they had the new faction that they're doing, the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, which is all, you know, you have the
words for you. Guns
Huh?
up.
Yeah. And you have the Acclaim, and now they're all together as good
Can
guys.
I tell you something though? With the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, you realize you have both trio champions together.
Yeah, the one of Ring
The
of
Bang
Honor.
Bang Gang is ROH trios,
Yeah.
and the Scissors are the AEW trios. So with those 6 guys, you have all your trios titles are there.
It just makes no sense. And do you think the Bang Bang Club, do they seem like a baby face? They were really good as heels, but now they're all good guys. And what happens when Juice comes back? Because everybody hated Juice. Now
I
he's
think
a good
that's when
guy. Now he's a
they'll go
heel.
back to
I
being
mean, no,
bad. They'll go back to being bad.
yeah, he'll be a baby
I think
face.
the problem now was this is what happened. You had the whole gimmick with the devil, and Jay White was the first person that got laid out by the devil. Remember?
Yeah.
It was them and the Scissor Gang.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, the Bang Bang Gang. I'm sorry, the Bang Bang Gang. Scissor Gang was right there. But so
Yeah.
they were the first ones laid out by the devil. That's how he ended up turning babyface. Like that's what happened. And then then I guess he came out to help his sons, and now the Scissor Gang, Scissor Bang Gang, or whatever the hell they are, is
Sir,
together.
the same way you corrected me, I gotta correct you. It's the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, sir.
There it is, the Bang Bang Scissor Gang. Whatever. You know,
Whatever
it's
whatever
not
it,
even ratings. I'll tell you that much.
no, it isn't. And that's the issue that's going on. And now, for example, on Dynamite tomorrow, you have again the CMLL guys going up against the Combat Club, and so the Combat Club is supposed to be the bad guys, but now you have the lucha libre fighters wrestlers doing that. So
Yeah.
again, you're confusing your fans. You're not making it very clear who's a baby face and who's a heel, and it's annoying because you're gonna have split audience. Some of the fans are gonna be cheering for Swerve, some are gonna be cheering for Adam, and then you don't know. You're like, what are you like? One day they might be cheering for Swerve, the next day they're
That's why
booing
I
him.
disagree with you because the fans should dictate who they want to cheer for and boo. Problem is they're not invested in half of the talent, so they're not cheering or booing for either one. So half of them are just sitting there like,
No, I disagree with you. They are invested on some of these guys. Adam
some
Page
of
has
these guys,
always
not all the guys. I'm
true.
not sitting here saying they're not invested in anybody in AEW. They don't know, but there are a lot of guys that they're not invested in. One, they don't know who they are. And again, look, it's great to have the Forbidden Door or whatever the hell you want to have or whatever, whatever it is. But you also, yes, you can bring in Will Ospreys. Everybody know who they are.
Yeah.
You can bring in Jay White. People know who he is. When you start bringing in all these CMLL guys, even the AAA guys, most of the guys in AAA. But CMLL, they feuded with AAA guys. Like it's like
that's the problem of bringing in other wrestling companies.
Everybody in. It's like, bro, look, keep your deal with New Japan and work with them or whatever. You don't have to be this revolving door for everybody. And then you get mad when you see a guy going, oh, he's feeding everybody to WWE. Why? Because he won't go be industrial espionage. That's what he sends out. It's industrial espionage, this guy.
Well, there was somebody who
doing the same thing. You're just doing it under the table, and you think you're smarter than everybody else.
Well, there's
a problem with Tony Khan. That smile right there, that smile's like, that guy wrestling in my ring will be under my contract soon.
Well, this is also the situation is that I don't remember who mentioned it, but it makes sense for you to leave WWE and then if you're like a lower tier talent in WWE, go to AEW, hopefully make a name for yourself, and then you're gonna get paid because you're eventually gonna leave AEW and go back to WWE. Like I mean, you don't think
depending on who they are, maybe but
true, not all of them.
Yeah, not all of them. No.
But I mean, you got a handful. You got Malachi Black, who already said that he's planning on leaving.
Yeah, but a lot of them left only because Vince McMahon was in charge. They wouldn't have left. They would not have left if Triple H was running back then. Malachi Black would not have left if Triple H was truly in charge back then. They knew Triple H was calling some shots, but he wasn't calling all the shots. And they said, "I'll take my chances with AEW rather than Vince McMahon. Because Vince McMahon, here's the one thing, you said it earlier. NXT guys now get called up, and what happens? They remain themselves.
Yeah.
What used to happen when guys got called up from NXT with Vince running it? They would change them. Karrion Kross does this whole thing that comes up on the main roster. He's got a welder's mask. It's like, what the hell is this guy? You know, he always changed everybody, and that's the thing. Is like,
it's for me, like the guys that I mean, I'll give you 50% of that. Probably the other 50% is probably as well has to be COVID and all the cuts that they had to do because.
Oh, I mean, there was. Don't get me wrong. Yes, there's some that wanted to go. Ziggler wanted to go. They wouldn't let him go for a while. They finally let him go,
and he's doing a hell of a job in TNA.
Yeah, but they knew what they had with Ziggler. They knew if we need him, he's going to come in and perform.
Oh yeah.
So yes, we'll pay him to be there because we know if we need him for 3 months, he's going to come in for 3 months and just kick ass.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like they knew what they had there, you know. And
but for me to kind of summarize, I think what AEW needs to do in order to get the fans invested is make it clear cut, make it easier for the fans, make it known who the baby faces are.
You're turning into WWE then, man.
No. You can, because right now it's all wild. It's a wild west over there in the AEW world.
What they need to do is get storylines involved. They need to get storylines for everybody. You can't just keep having the hook signal pop up on the top and come out and be like, "Hey, good job. You kicked my ass, but I'm gonna get you." What?
Yeah, but no, but
what just happened?
But in order to have storylines, you need to have good guys and you have to have bad guys. You need to have baby faces and you need to have heels and proper ones. They're AEW champion Samoa Joe. You don't know if he's a baby face or a heel. Like you don't know that.
Neither. He's always been neither.
But again, that should be not the case in AEW because there's just too many wrestlers like that.
Man, there hasn't been. Fans have decided baby faces and heels since Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I get that.
And the NWO. The NWO, were they babies or they heels?
At the beginning, they were in WCW or in WWE?
Anywhere.
In WCW, they were heels.
Really? Because they moved more merch and got cheered better than any baby face in the roster.
They were heels.
Why? Because
really good heels.
The fans love bad. So they end up being the babies.
But no, well, okay, hold on a second. Just because they sell the best merch doesn't mean that they're baby faces.
You can write the story to make them the bad guy. But again, that's writing the storyline.
That's because
the storyline being written by your writers, your creative, by that little chipmunk looking mofo right there.
Yes, but if you put a heel versus another heel, you're gonna create an audience that doesn't know who to pick at the end of the day.
Who did that?
Tony Khan is doing that right now.
Okay.
Yeah, he's doing it all the way.
So that's your problem.
Yeah, but there's no way to get rid of him. He's the owner.
What do you mean? Somebody needs to sit him down and go, TK, do you want to stop blowing all your father's money? And he's going to be like, Papa loves me. Papa, can I have a sip of tea?
You know what's going to be.
But you're right. It does come down to being, but it also is dictated by who he has writing the program and making sure there's clear, decisive stories that are written. So then, yes, that guy might be the bad guy by the story, but I like the bad guy better. That's when the fan can get invested and then can make their decision. Am I going to cheer the bad guy or am I going to boo the bad guy?
Yeah, but that's why at the end of the day, though, the storyline tells you that, but you as the audience, as the fan, you need to know you can't put a bad guy versus another bad guy because then at the end of the day, you're gonna be like, what the hell? Who am I gonna pick? Like that's what creates controversy. That's what creates the fan not knowing who to root for.
Wow, you just can't do it every damn show. What they do.
Yeah, very good point. Yeah, that's the problem because that's what that's what he's doing with every show.
Every match can't be face, heel. No.
Yeah, because
you have your times where faces are going to have to fight faces to see who's going to first the championship.
Yeah, I like I said.
This way. Think about it in WWE right now. Okay. Usually, what happens if Seth Rollins is the baby? who's usually fighting for the number one shot, or how are they figuring out who the number one contender is for his title?
I mean, I don't know. Like I don't know. I'm having a brain fart, but I don't know who, how.
It's by whoever the number one heel at that time is, right? They don't sit
Well,
there and go, "Oh, okay, we have to have a number one contenders match." They're already telling the story of who the next guy is through the pipeline. The problem with AEW is, and I like the rankings. Don't get me wrong with the rankings, but if you're going to use the rankings, then why are you having a number one contender when one guy's number one and one guy's number two?
That doesn't make any sense.
If he's already number one, he should be fighting for the title.
Okay,
that's
so
the next guy.
Hold on. Seth freaking Rollins, before, obviously the last person he fought was Jinder Mahal. That was his guy.
And that was just because of what TK did. They threw Jinder out there to do that.
Who was the second? Who was before Jinder? Was it Shinsuke?
Jinder was no.
Was it Shinsuke?
Shinsuke was with Dustin at that time, or with Cody.
So who did Seth fight? I don't remember who Seth fought before.
Before
Jinder Mahal. Do you guys know the chat? Damn. I don't know.
I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah. I thought it was.
It hasn't been like a bunch of faces or anything. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I know one of them was Shinsuke because remember
it was Drew. He beat Drew twice.
Okay, yeah.
Because remember, he's last night in the promo or Monday on the promo, he said, "Drew, you're 0-2 against me," and Drew goes, "Yeah, well, you're 0-3 against Cody."
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Yeah. And then before Drew, it was Shinsuke, right? I think it was Shinsuke.
It was Shinsuke for the title. It was Shinsuke to get the title.
Yeah. So you're right. They just kept putting him heels to go up against him.
But what they're doing though is they're building up. You can always tell who the next guy going usually is.
Correct.
Who they're kind of feeding the other people to. But I like the AEW rankings. I love that style and that kind of thing. But then make them mean something. If you're number one, why do I have to fight somebody else to get my title shot? I'm number one.
That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day,
to get to number one, and now I get to number one. You're telling me I got to fight number two? If anything, this is where Swerve can take this and be, I have to fight the system.
But then you kind of could say that they're similar to the UFC though, because the UFC sometimes gives a champion.
Yeah, but the champion usually fights one or two.
No, not in the UFC.
Four, depending on where the fights line up. Yes, right.
Because sometimes I'll see a 7th rank go up for a championship belt. So it's like whoever is riding momentum.
Somebody got injured. If guys fought and can't fight for 6 months, I mean, things happen with injuries and things like that.
Yes and no. I mean, there's some controversy and people are like, they feel like one of the other fighters has a lot of momentum. So
one maybe on a 5-fight win streak, and he came from 20. Now he's at 6, and they're like, "Hey, you're going to fight for the title."
Yeah,
I mean, it happens, but at least use the rankings in as a storyline.
I don't like the rankings, man. I like
it. It makes something. It means something.
I don't like the rankings.
You got to use them. You got to use them in the story. I mean, if you're going to have them, you have to use them. That's another issue that they have. They use all this stuff, and it's like, okay, if you're not going to use them, then do away with them.
And then the same thing goes with the win-loss record. I'm not a fan of that either. I think it's pointless.
I mean, if you're going to do rankings, you got to have win-loss record. I mean,
no, I know that's why. So that's why I don't agree with the win-loss record, and I don't agree with the rankings. I think they need to get away from that. Just let it be.
They just brought them back, man.
I know that. They brought it back, but they've always had that mindset.
You know who didn't want them, right? You know who told Tony Khan get rid of that stuff? CM Dump.
It made sense if he CM
Dump was like, what do you got win losses up there for? For what?
That makes sense.
For what? You can't if and again, this is where I'm saying though is if you're gonna have the rankings, they need to be a part of the story. They need to be what people are. I need to get to number one by any means necessary, so I get the next title shot. I don't get to number one to take on number two to find out if I get a title shot. No, I get to one, I get a title shot. That's what it has to be. It can't be. Again, you're right. If they're not going to use them as a storyline, then get rid of them because it's really just dumb.
There's certain things I just don't like about wrestling. So records, rankings, tournaments, I don't like them. Like That's if I have to criticize one thing of NXT
Well,
is that
you just said everything about AEW.
they keep and same thing with AEW. They keep doing these tournaments, and I'm like, dude, stop it. Like,
Yeah,
just
but a lot of times, look, the NXT does the tournaments so that you start seeing some new faces, but they don't
what do
have
you
to
what?
work matches.
Okay.
Like
I get
Lola Vice, she came through that breakthrough tournament. She
Yes.
fought two of the younger ladies that hadn't been there that long, so they got a little bit of ring time. They're basically used as enhancement talent, but you heard their name finally. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, that's a name. Okay, now I start listening for the name. Then they do the vignettes in the back, and you start hearing names and names and names,
Yes.
and that's how they feed it through to where now all of a sudden, then boom, they make their in-ring debut, and it's like, oh, okay, and you feel like you know them.
Yeah, I mean I don't mind a tournament here and there, but
Yes, no,
it's when they start doing multiple tournaments over and over and over again when it ruins the purpose. In other words, you understand me?
no. That's the problem that I have with Tony Khan is and again, and it might be my ignorance to the great game of soccer, football, but wrestling can't be that. Wrestling can't be that. You can't just have a whole bunch of tournaments and
Well, you know what? Now that you mention it, it makes perfect sense. Why in the Greens God Earth does he keep bringing all these different
you didn't
wrestling
know that's why?
organizations?
Full on.
No, but it
He's
makes
taking
even
it
more
from
sense.
that. That's what he's doing. He's trying to take it all from. That's why he's got the ranking systems.
No,
That's
and
why
not
he's
on-
got
not
guys going
no,
up
but
and down.
it makes sense also why he has like why he's bringing in Lucha Libre, why he brings in New Japan because you have Champions League, and in Champions League you have EPL, La Liga,
Oh, okay.
the Italian league. You have all these people, so he's basically mimicking the exact same thing, but with wrestling.
Yeah.
Wow, damn, that doesn't make any sense. But you're right, I agree. He's dropping the ball in that aspect. But besides him
The problem
thinking
is,
that way,
why doesn't he
he's
make
sneaky stealing them.
AEW the best AEW can make it instead of being worried about, hey, bring CMLL, bring New Japan. And now they're even working with New Japan with Jack Perry.
I saw that, man.
Jack Perry's he's wrestling in Chicago under New Japan Pro. Like it's
Well, at least New Japan got Jack Perry.
well, you know, he did. He they trademarked scapegoat.
Really?
Yeah, that's gonna be his new gimmick. He's a scapegoat.
Wow. Well, that's good. That's not a bad name for him.
No Doubt says, how about a pay-per-view old school UFC style tournament, 6-hour marathon? They used to do this one that this I really liked. And this was back in the day. I think they called it Super Brawl. And they would do 3 rings, 20 guys in each ring. So 60 guys. Excuse me real quick. I'm sorry. I'm not used to talking this long. I haven't done this in a while.
I know we haven't been on in a minute.
So much for 9 o'clock, huh? Back to our old ways. So then what they would do is do the 60. Then they would get to 10 guys in the ring in each ring. So they'd eliminate half. And then they would work those as tag teams. And then the tag teams would come back in and finish the thing. Then they switched it to the lethal lottery. So what you would do is 2 guys would come in and they would draw the name of their partner. So you could have, and I know people have done it before, but you know, you could end up having me and Frankie as a tag team, and then we have to beat, you know, the Road Warriors to get into the Battle Royal at the end of the night. And then there was also the Jim Crockett Senior Memorial Cup, which was a tag team battle royal that was like 32 teams, and you fought the whole night to get the finish. Then they went to 2 nights. But there's been some other ones, but you could do that as a one pay-per-view spectacular. The problem is, again, what we talk about is how do you keep it and get people invested for a one-off, basically? Can you keep storylines running through the tournament? Can you keep storylines running after the tournament? Because then the problem is you get to the tournament, you have the tournament, and what? You got to start from scratch. That's the thing. It's like, you know, and I know WWE does their calendar from WrestleMania to WrestleMania. So after WrestleMania is when you get your other cuts, you get your call-ups, you get your thing, and they start, you know, from scratch. You could do maybe that at a WrestleMania, or like a type of WrestleMania or something like that, to where you include some of the younger guys, maybe a pre-show, and then you have like the king and queen of WrestleMania will be more of the undercard people and do some matches pre-show leading in, but it'd just be a long night. It'd be a long night.
Yeah, man. Well, but yeah, man, that's mostly what we've been talking about for AEW. I don't know if you guys want to go ahead and send us some questions. We're gonna try to answer as many questions as you guys like, or we could take a look at the chat and see if anybody else has posted any type of questions.
DJ Mimo says AEW should get Cha Cha Charlie. Yes. And also for you Dolphin fans, I don't know if you know this or not, but Brent Grimes was involved in the AJ Francis Cha Cha Charlie match at Bash at the Brew. He ended up coming in and throwing Cha Cha Charlie off the top rope. Brent Grimes, former cornerback for your Miami Dolphins, was there helping out AJ Francis.
You know what's funny is that I always see Brent Grimes at the Dolphin football games because he sits like I sit in row 5 in like section 106, and he's always sitting like in row 1 in the same section. So he's always coming in and saying it's so sad how that guy has kind of like fallen after being so talented and stuff. Like, I guess he's just doing his own thing.
Yeah, I mean, but again, man, that's the position that like you just draw. It's like receiver, man, right? Certain guys. I mean, you have it, and then the next day it's like, oh, it's gone.
Yeah, that's true.
Once you lose it, it's gone, man. Those positions are not like you can stick around in the league maybe as a lineman if you're big enough, and strong enough, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But the cornerback, like you can't stick around. People are just gonna run by you. It's over, man. At a certain time, you just that's it. I'm done.
Yep.
It's like wrestling, man. You can't be there forever, Ric Flair.
Yeah, I'm glad that they haven't gone ahead and at least put Ric Flair to wrestle. That would have been really, really disappointing in AEW.
Dude, how about this AEW card tomorrow night? Is it stacked or what? I mean, I know every AEW card's like it, but I mean, you got Sting and Darby for the tag team titles.
Why would you put that on a Dynamite?
In a tornado match, which means there's got to be a winner. It's not a match where you can like have people interfere, and it's a tornado match. That means everything goes. It's no disqualification. There's got to be a winner.
Why would you put that on a Dynamite?
The belts on Darby and Sting, right? I mean, you got to.
You can't have him lose.
Yeah, I mean, you're heading in. What? When's his last match? This month, right?
Yeah,
This month.
Yeah.
The end of this month, so he's going to go in.
Look at this. Look at this card. Hold on.
I know it.
Can we share it? Can we share the card?
Yeah, we should be able to bring it up.
Hold on a second. Let me share. I have it up actually. Hold on. Let's see. Do I have it here? Oh, here it is. We'll share this. So check that out, man. That is a stack card. Jesus, and it's on a Dynamite. And you even got Chris Jericho versus
Takeshita, another one.
Yeah, Chris Jericho with
Japan, right?
Yeah, they did take him from New Japan. But out of all this that's happening tomorrow, the biggest thing is right there on the bottom. Tony Khan will make a big announcement. That's what I'm talking about.
What do you think it is? What are you going to go with?
I said something dealing with Stardom.
You think Stardom?
Yeah, I think he's going straight to Stardom. I think he's gonna stick it to them and immediately say, "Hey, we were able to come to an agreement with Stardom immediately," because you saw him tweeting about it.
But see, I don't know if the Stardom does anything. I think it's the Mercedes Moné.
Nah, you can't.
I think they announce it that they've signed like her or Okada, one of those two. Like, I think it's got to be.
What happened to Okada? Did Okada? Because
it goes back to money, and WWE does not let you. WWE doesn't want you making money for other people. You make money for them and yourself. That's it. They don't want you making money for other people. And I think his friendship with the Bucks and all that might end up outweighing the glow of going to WWE.
You know what? It makes sense for Sting and Darby to win it. They win the belts, and then they fight the Young Bucks.
Right? It says it's a tornado match, right?
Yeah, it is. It is a tornado match.
Okay. I saw tornado, and I thought that was. Now that I started looking at it again, I was like, "Oh, maybe I'm wrong."
Yeah. So it makes sense. They beat Ricky Stark and Big Bill, and then the next fight would be the Young Bucks versus Sting and Darby, and then Sting and Darby win that one, and then that's kind of like how Sting goes away. He ends his career by still being a tag team champion.
I think he keeps the belt. Then what? They just drop the belts.
No, somebody replaces Sting. So Darby's gonna have to. They'll make an announcement of like who Darby will now team up with. I don't know who else is in their faction. Who else is somebody that they usually roll with besides
Lately, it's
Adam
been
Copeland?
Jericho.
Besides Adam Copeland,
Jericho too, right?
have they been hanging out? I
Yeah.
don't think. And that's another thing, man. They haven't used Adam Copeland as much as I as productive as I thought they were.
Well,
But
I think the problem that happened was like, oh, I wonder why I went back to that one. There we go. I think again, WWE was like, bro, we love you, Edge, for everything you do, but you're not going to be that everyday guy. You can't be, and he came in guns a blazing. He's that every day, and it wears on you, man. And then, and maybe I know somebody here just said maybe Ricky transitions to singles. What about Edge, Adam Copeland against Ricky Starks? If he goes singles, you got to put him with somebody else. I mean, at this point, he's been against Luchasaurus, Christian, and them guys forever. And yeah, he's had some singles matches in between, but everything's been dictated to Christian, which everybody's already seen.
yeah, I feel like Christian's momentum of being a heel is kind of like fading a little bit because he was so good.
You have to see it every week, and now they've given him time off, and it kind of disappears because he's not the rat bastard anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
you have to see every day. You have to see him all the time, so it stays fresh. Wrestling fans are not. We ain't got deep minds, man. We're squirrel.
Well, that's why when we go back to the WWE world, I keep telling you that the whole situation with Roman Reigns, when Roman is not there, the one that keeps us always thinking about Roman is Paul Heyman
And the bloodline.
and the bloodline.
Yeah, no, but that's one of the things there where you can do that. If Christian's not on the show, they don't bring out Luchasaurus.
No.
They don't bring out the other two. You know what I'm saying? But again, that's the little things that to me, like I said with WWE, even with the NXT, back when they throw them out in those breakout star tournaments, then they'll throw little things in the vignettes. So you start hearing the name over and over and over, and then boom, now they're not so new. You kind of know who they are. That's the little thing. It's just little things that they could do all the time at AEW, and they don't. They get fixated on certain things, and then when that's over, then they fixate on something else.
Yeah.
And perfect thing is the Devil, MJF, right? And then Edge and Christian were your big things moving in to the pay-per-view. Yeah. Both of them ended, and now what? They're all gone.
Yeah.
You have the Devil, the group's still there, but what are they doing?
Yeah, it sucks.
You have Wardlow. Wardlow was getting bumped by Trent
Beretta?
Yeah. He's getting bumped. Like, you had this guy as a monster before. Now you got him getting bumped by all these guys, and like now they can have a match and almost come away with a victory. Like what are you doing? Like, this is supposed to be your monster. You're the Devil, and this is what you give us. Like,
yeah, it's kind of that whole faction has kind of gone down because you also have the issue with Roddy Strong. He's actually kind of simmered down. Everybody loved him yelling all the time, and now he still does it from time to time, but it's not like as good as it was before. And then you have Adam Cole, and he's still injured. So him walking around with a boot in his foot, you're not getting Adam Cole. You're just seeing him.
They should have had Tony Khan be the Devil. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
He should have been the Devil, and then you could have Adam Cole still there as part of, like, because again, Tony can't cut a promo, but you can have Adam Cole there to cut the promo. You have all the other guys still there, but Tony just being that authority figure, just
they should have run the Vince McMahon.
They won't do that because that's what Vince McMahon did. That's why Tony.
It doesn't matter, but it would have been good because everybody hates Tony Khan. Yeah, they would have had more eyes.
That would have been the best thing to do, especially with Adam Cole not being able to wrestle. That kills that whole thing. Because now there's talk that MJF and Tony Khan had a falling out, and that they're a little bit. There's a disagreement on on the money and contract. I mean, we're 2 months in now. He's either signed or he's not. I feel like that's part of the things where he can't come back because Adam Cole can't. Why bring MJF back if he can't get to Adam Cole?
Yeah, I agree.
And now you've killed that part too. So everything that was hot for you a month ago is now nothing.
Especially since MJF has been gone.
Yeah.
You rely too heavy on him.
Sting and Darby are the only thing that's still getting you through. And that cow ends next month.
Barely.
Yeah, that cow ends next month.
Barely.
What happens after that? What? Look, dude, I love Samoa Joe, but if you don't put the title on Swerve Strickland, you're crazy.
Oh yeah. All day.
He's crazy.
He's the next one that should be holding it down, because then you could eventually sell it as Swerve after a while, Swerve versus MJF. That is what people would want to see long term eventually. But it is what it is. The Swerve show, absolutely.
Should be. You know what I guarantee is going to happen? Tony Khan's going to he's going to pull a Mike McDaniel tomorrow night. This is my call. My call right here. Hangman Adam Page beats Swerve Strickland tomorrow night to become the number one contender to take on Samoa Joe. That is the Tony Khan, Mike McDaniel call.
How is that a Mike McDaniel call?
Because he should run. He's going to throw a pass.
I'm going to have to bring you back into tomorrow's podcast one of these days. That way we could explain to you that Mike McDaniel is not the only issue.
He's not the only issue. He's not the only issue. But he did call the play. Tony Khan's going to call the play, right? Tony Khan's going to call the play.
Yeah, but
now there's no options. You can't audible out. So therefore, Hangman Adam Page will win.
Technically, Tua should be able to auto it out, but whatever. We'll agree to disagree.
No, you would think so, but you know,
I'm gonna have to bring it to the next. That way we get, because that next time I have my brother, and I know my brother.
You know how I feel about the thing. It's everybody's fault, man. It's everybody's
we could go
fault.
for hours. We could go for hours.
It's Mike McDaniel's fault for calling the plays. It's Tua's fault for throwing the ball. It's.
I put it more, and I know this is we're going a little bit off topic, but I put it more on the players instead of the coach. The coach has to blame, I agree, but you have to put it on the players. They're the ones out there performing. I don't care if you're not running. I don't care if you have to. If you're trying to make it simple for your quarterback. If your quarterback is a franchise quarterback, he should be able to deliver at the end of the day. But we could go on and on.
Yeah, but here's my question to you. You got a 53-man roster. You got injuries. You got guys getting hurt. You're putting guys out of position. That falls on preparation during the week. Everybody should be running in different positions. Even if it's a walkthrough. Hey, Chase, jump in where Tyreek's at. Understand what you got to do there. Hey, jump over here. We might need you at this position. You shouldn't have guys jumping in a thing and then all of a sudden Tua's having to be like, no, you go to the left side. No, you're on the right side. That goes down to preparation. That's on coaching.
Okay, that could be that. Okay, I agree to a certain extent. I agree with that, but that also comes. You also have to take into account that not every single player that's out there in the field is out with an injury or is not playing their position. So you, as a franchise quarterback who is already been playing the whole season, knows the system, knows the playbook and everything. You don't necessarily just go and trust, hey, let me just throw it to my first read. You actually read the field. You actually look and see who is available. And if nobody's available, throw the ball away. You could do other things. Run with your feet if that's the case. Do whatever you got to do. Throw the fader out. Whatever you have to do. It doesn't necessarily have to be what they give you. It's like Tony Khan. I'm going to give you a script and there's nothing to change it. So then all the wrestlers are just going to follow that script no matter what. No, you have to be able to change the script as a wrestler. You should be. There's a reason why I put more pressure and more emphasis on Tua, is because he should be able. And this whole notion of
how do you know
of this whole, I know where you're going. I know where you're going. This whole notion that Mike McDaniel is not going to allow him to do any of these changes and all that stuff. Come on, man. At the end of the day, Mike McDaniel is not that type of coach. We've already noticed that. We've already noticed that.
What are you talking
He's
about?
He's a player's
In the
coach.
press conference, they asked him, Mike McDaniel, will Tua have the option to audible out? And he said, if Tua needs to change the play, why am I here?
Yeah, but if you have that relationship with your coach, you go ahead and you tell him, hey, you tell him, hey, man, coach, at the end of the day, bro, come on, man, I'm the one on the field. You're supposed to have that relationship with your coach, right? You're supposed to have that relationship. I don't do. Okay, let me ask you this: do you really think? Damn, and we're going here on a different topic here, but do you really think Tua is going to Mike McDaniel and telling him, hey, coach, I want an audible certain place? Do you think he's doing that? In your opinion, your honest opinion?
I'll say no.
Exactly. That's an issue. So it doesn't only fall on Mike McDaniel. The fact is, if Mike McDaniel is saying that, shame on him. But I'm also
Mike McDaniel allowed him to have.
But it's not about allowing. It's about you going and talking to your coach. You have a relationship with. If I have an issue with you, Sean,
yeah, but the problem,
I'm going to talk to you about it.
This is the problem. The problem is not necessarily, it's the execution, because Mike McDaniel has the plays so strategically routed that at home, if you watch the offense at home, okay, it's quieter, right? They're able to control everything. You can hear all the sounds. You can hear the claps. You can hear the whistles. You can hear everything else. It looks good. They go on the road when the crowd's into it. Now you can't hear that clap. So now the ball's a half a second late, which puts Tyreek a lot more over it. Now the pass is off, or it puts Waddle at a different position. It's off. You can't tell me that the offense runs the same at home and away. It doesn't. The motion throws it off because the motion puts the offense in rhythm.
But you expect,
and the rhythm isn't there.
But you expect perfection every single time, whether they're at home or on the road, and that's not the case. And that's when you, as an athlete, you improvise. Same thing like CM Punk. When CM Punk saw that he got injured, he didn't go ahead and say, let me eliminate Cody. No, he did an audible. And
I agree with you. But here's the problem. When you're running a route and a quarterback thinks you're going to be at spot A and he's throwing to spot A and you end up at spot B, guess what's at spot A? Usually a linebacker,
the opponent,
or something else. Yeah. Yeah, but that's where the problem is. Like this offense, and then here's the other thing. Like, and I get it that he's late calling in the plays. The plays are too long. If it's taking that long to break from the huddle, either Tua stutters just like Mike McDaniel, or the play calls are way too long. Because look, the headset cuts off with 15 seconds left to go. McDaniel's cut off regardless. So now Tua's got to call a play in the huddle, and then they break. Then they need 5 seconds for motion to figure out if they need to change the play. So somewhere there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect somewhere.
But that's when Tua needs to talk to his coach and tell him, hey, we need to kill that motion sometimes. Give me the ability to kill that motion.
When they killed the motion? Snead was wiping the field with Tyreek, like mopping the floor. You have to put Tyreek in motion. Those guys are so small. You can't. Our guys get jammed. They can't do anything.
Well, like I said, man, Tyreek is not the only guy out there on the field. You got other running backs out there. You got your tight ends. If you have a tight end out there, I mean, it's not only about Tyreek. It's not only about Jalen Waddle.
Needs to make an offense more aligned to not having to worry about spot throws. That's what I mean, and I
maybe he only did that because that's what he feels Tua is successful in.
No, Tua is very accurate, but if you put routes in there and you ran routes, but then you rely a lot on your receivers. The problem now is you can run whatever route you want as long as you get to that spot.
He wants to. If he implemented spot throwing, it's for a reason. Maybe it's because that's what he felt.
No, that's what the offense is. Watch Brock Purdy. That's the San Francisco 49ers offense. That's what he does.
You see Brock Purdy make some plays outside of what they typically type to do. And he does plays outside than
he's
what
got
the
legs
actual.
to run, and then also he's got. I mean, look, you're covering Kittle, you're covering Debo, Ayuk, McCaffrey. You go on the line. You're every one of those guys. If you try to go man to man, there's going to be an opening. You can run for a little bit.
We could debate this on another day.
I'm not. No, you're trying to say it's on Tua. I'm trying to say it's on both.
No, I agree that it's
that's
on.
my whole thing. It's like
I agree that's on both.
Figure out what works in the NFL. This isn't working.
I agree it's on both of them. I just feel that some people are going ahead and putting more weight on the coach and blaming the coach than the actual player who's out on the field.
But as a coach, you're supposed to put your player in the best position to be successful.
Correct. And if your best,
you think in every position that they were put in was a position to be successful?
Not every play, but we weren't saying about this when we were playing against some teams here and there, and we were successful. So nothing's perfect. You're gonna have routes that sometimes are not gonna roll the way it's supposed to be. This player's not gonna be there. This player is gonna,
like they said with the 49ers when they went on that 4-game losing streak, and everybody's like, "Oh, we figured out how to play the 49ers." No, you didn't. There were key guys out, which threw everything off because now you have guys in there that shouldn't be in there. That's the problem. They don't have the right personnel to be in there. You don't.
You can't. I'm not gonna go and just say that our coach is the reason it has the majority at fault. I'm not. It feels like you guys are blaming more him than the actual players on the field. The person who's on the field,
dude. If I have a line,
knows.
If I have a line that can maul running the ball, then run the damn ball.
Mike McDaniel
run the damn ball. Though,
Mike
bro.
McDaniel.
You're telling me in that game, they couldn't have ran more than 3 times in the second half?
Dude, they run the ball when they have to run the ball. And when you don't run the ball, then make a play. You're a quarterback.
Dude, if a team knows 18 plays in the second half, 3 runs, as a defense, I wonder what they're going to do. Maybe they're going to pause. Maybe they're going to they might run the ball. No, they're going to pass. They know the tendencies. You're talking like, and I'm not sitting here saying it's all McDaniel and this and that, but at the same time, it's like, know what you have out there, man. Know what you're doing.
You guys are making it seem, again, the
defense is out there for 57 plays. Why am I going to do 3 passes and put them right back out there?
True. I get that. I get that he might do those mistakes. And again, I'm not saying that Mike McDaniel doesn't have any blame. Those are some of the areas that he needs to improve in. But I'm also not going to leave Tua off the hook either.
I'm not leaving him. He threw some shitty pass, 10 interceptions, 14 or whatever it was.
Not only that, but dude, look, man, I was a fan of this. And I believed a lot in that kid. And I felt like he was the right player. But it's been 4 years. Same crap over and over. I don't see the. Hold on. Before you tell me.
Let me ask you this. Who? If not Tua, who?
No, you rebuilt. You get rid of everybody and you start from scrap again. Yes.
Rebuild with what?
You trade Tyreek Hill. You trade Tamar Armstead. You trade Jalen Ramsey, and you start from the beginning.
Can I tell you something? If you do that, Mike McDaniel's gone. So we got another new coach.
Maybe he's gone. Maybe he isn't. Probably Chris Greer should be gone before they get rid of Mike McDaniel, in my opinion. You have to start. You really think this team is going to win next season? Come on, man. We already know this. But we're Dolphin fans, so we're always going to think that hey, we're going to do well. We're going to win a Super Bowl.
Seasons for the first time in like forever, and now it's like, oh, that's still not good enough. Like, I don't get what we're doing. Like, what does that to be? 17-0? 18-0, everything's not going to be perfect. The play call is not going to be perfect. Quarterback play is not going to be perfect. Wide receiver catching the ball, not going to be perfect. Defense, not going to be perfect.
Everything,
it's a hell of a lot better than anything else we've been watching for the last forever as a Dolphin team. And now you want to go back to being 1-15
because we don't have the right person in charge.
Different quarterback.
We don't have the right quarterback in our system. We don't have the right quarterback. We don't have him.
Dude.
That's the truth. We don't. Look at Patrick Mahomes. Look at that guy, how he
Oh my
fights.
God!
Look at how he fights for his
Let's pick out
team.
the best goddamn quarterback in the league.
I don't have
who
to.
is so
You could
goddamn gifted.
put Jared
Patrick
Goff.
Mahomes is gifted, bro.
Put Baker Mayfield out there. Every time you see a
Can I
play
tell you
that
something? Baker Mayfield ended the season with an interception.
Baker Mayfield at least won a playoff game. A guy who was off the street that literally everybody gave up on, and he took that team farther than a 4-year quarterback with us. Are you
Team
kidding
that
me?
went to the Super Bowl, what, 2 years ago?
Who, what?
Team that went to the Super Bowl, what was it, 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
They were trash. They had Tom Brady. They had a good quarterback.
Oh. Bro, like, I mean, come on, man. Come on. I'm
Sean,
not going to sit here and say I'm a Tua lover and everything else, but to say that let's get rid of him to go in for what?
again, you don't have everything starts with your quarterback. And the reason I say I gave up on Tua is because, and I won't even use Patrick. I'll use Baker as an example. When you have you just don't see it in that guy. You don't see it when I've noticed when I see Patrick Mahomes or Baker Mayfield or Jared Goff, any of these guys going ahead and fighting for calls. When you see somebody he gets knocked down on the floor and you're like bitching and whining, yes, you're gonna criticize and say, "Oh my God, what a whiner that guy!" Or Josh Allen, who always whines. Tua doesn't even do that type of stuff because you start playing mind games as well with the referees. You keep
Can I
telling
tell
them,
you
"Hey,
something,
look,
though?
this and this and
The
that."
way he was brought up, and in college football, he played for Nick Saban, where you can't bitch about calls.
It
Nick
doesn't matter. Why are you guys? Why are you guys? Why are you guys?
Quarterbacks like that?
Why are you guys babying this guy? This guy.
Babying him for what? I'm not saying he's God's gift anything, but at the same time, he's a hell of a lot better than
everything
else we're gonna get.
everything we do, everything that he does, it's somebody else's fault. Get the hell out of here, bro. That guy makes mistakes just like
The hell does
everybody else.
Wait a minute. Wait. When did I say that Tua doesn't make mistakes, bro? Like you're throwing me.
No, but every single time I bring something up, you're giving some type of excuse.
Well, then, okay, can you bring something up like everything else with a problem? Give me a solution.
A solution with Tua, or a solution with the Dolphins in general? Yeah, I
don't want to hear. Get rid of the quarterback and get a quarterback. What is the quarterback we get?
I already told you to start rebuilding back on this team. Are we going to win a Super Bowl next year? No. Let's keep it real. So what are we? We're going to be reaching for that.
31 other teams aren't winning a Super Bowl either. I mean, one team wins a Super Bowl, bro.
I understand that. Are we going to win a playoff game? I'll go even that far. Huh?
Do we know? No.
I highly doubt it. The way we're going, I highly doubt it. Look, man, if I have to blame people, I have to blame Mike McDaniel, Tua Tagovailoa, and Chris Greer. Those are the guys you blame. You have the talent, and yet we still we figure out a way to choke at the end.
No, hold on. I'm gonna stop you right there. You can't say we have the talent, but then say get rid of the guy that got the talent.
We have the talent, or we had talent around us, but they're not getting the job done.
Okay, but Chris Greer got the talent.
Yeah, but Chris Greer had to make
coaches didn't maximize some of the talent.
What are you talking about? With Brian Flores, we won 10 games. We've had a winning season with the talent that has been given to us by Chris Greer. But now it's catching up to us because Chris Greer hasn't done a very good job when it comes to drafting. Explain to me why in Green's Earth did we go ahead and select 2 tight ends and they're not even we got rid of them the last draft. We picked a tight end, and now everybody's asking, hey, why don't we get we need a tight end. We drafted a tight end and we let him go. We drafted a tight end. And did you forget the other one that got drafted that also got left go? I don't want to give it up because that was going to be my rant for tomorrow, but tune in, guys. I will go in on Chris Greer tomorrow. I'm telling you right now.
When were those tight ends drafted? What round?
I gotta do my homework, but the guy that we drafted, the last one that we drafted was not a bad. He had
he was undrafted. I'm sorry, Julian was undrafted, I think, actually.
Yeah. So we got rid of the 2 that we drafted, right? because there was one that was with Mike Gesicki, and then the other guy that was supposed to be the replacement to Mike Gesicki. Correct. I think that was during the Brian Flores time.
Durham Smythe.
Not Durham Smythe, no sir. The other rookie that we drafted. I gotta look at the Dolphins draft picks, but we picked up a tight end that didn't work out, and we let him walk. And then we were like, why the hell did we even pick that guy? I gotta look it up, but we did that, and then we just drafted a couple last draft. We picked up that other tight end that we all said,
hold on a minute. Hold on. I'm listening, but I won't be talking.
Look it up. I know if you look it up, you'll find it. We had two tight ends that we picked up, and both of them got cut. The one that struggled for a minute, man, God damn it, I'm so bad with the names, and I don't remember. But I know that we picked up 2 draft picks, 2 tight ends, and we weren't able to get him. And then what do? We let him walk. I'm trying to think. Frankie wants to give to the Breeze Trotter treatment. Hunter Long. There you go. Thank you, Chad. Thank you. What happened to Hunter Long? See what I'm talking about, guys? Hunter Long was one. And what was the one? Chad, let me know if one of you guys can help me out here. Who was the one we just drafted this last draft that we let him walk as well? Who was him as well? That was another one that and now we're still talking about, hey, we need a tight end. Get out of here, bro. What kind of draft picks are you doing out there? And you don't want to put the blame on Chris Grier. So what happens with Chris Grier? Chris Grier tries to make it up. What happened when we went with Chase Edmonds? Chase Edmonds didn't work out. So what do we have to do? We had to go get Jeff Wilson and give up a draft pick. Why? Because Chase Edmonds didn't work out. What happened with all the other draft picks that we've done? I'm gonna do a list, and I'm telling you for tomorrow's rant. And Squared Circle Digest, you guys know we talk wrestling, a little bit of Dolphins right now. But tomorrow on my podcast, on Let Me Talk to You, my brother, you guys know my rant, my Speak the Unspoken. I'm gonna go in on Chris Grier, and you guys are gonna rant. I'm doing my homework. I'm writing it out. I don't have it in front of me because we're talking wrestling, but I'm gonna go on a rant, and I hope you guys tune in. That way you can see what I'm talking about. And it's unfortunate because we keep praising Chris Grier. He's done a decent job, but at the same time, he's made his mistakes, and now it's finally catching up to him. That's why we have all this cap problem issues, bro. Look at all the people. There's a lot of things that he's covered up by making trades for it, and that's what's hurting us at the end of the day. So I mean, granted, he had to do what he had to do, but that's why everybody keeps saying, hey, this window. Yeah, this window's closed because we had to make changes. Who said to go get Tyreek Hill? We had Cedric Wilson. Why didn't we never get rid of Cedric Wilson that same year that we got Tyreek Hill? If that's what you wanted, you never got rid of him. Those are bad decisions. That's what's costing us. We went ahead and we got Bradley Chubb. We went ahead and we got Jalen Ramsey to make up for blunders because we couldn't find a cornerback. I mean, it's just we don't have a linebacker. We went with Channing Tindall, and I know Channing Tindall was a towards the end of the draft, but again, another guy that we drafted who hasn't paid out. Come on, we're making it up. We're making it. He had to go get Alec Ingle. Why? You had to pay. You had to go find a fullback on this team instead of drafting one. Making sure you could get a fullback. How many people draft a fullback in the first round? You don't. But you had to go get that guy. Fine, he's panned out. Great idea, awesome. But there's been bad decisions at the end of the day. It's I'm sorry. I'm just being honest with you. That's just how I looked at it, and that's why I don't shy away from blaming our general manager because he is the guy who's been messing it up as well. And now everybody about this, hey, this window's closing. Well, yeah, because we don't have any money.
Can I go now, or are you still going?
Go ahead.
No. Your guy that's untouchable, Mike McDaniel, is also the guy that needs the certain tight end, which those guys didn't fit into. He also needs the fullback in his system. I mean, it goes. It's a team effort, bro. And I'll continue to say Chris Grier hasn't made mistakes. He has. Everybody's going to make mistakes. Nobody's going to be perfect in the NFL, bro. I'm sorry to tell you.
I agree.
You know what I say? I say this right now. This is all I'm going to say. Wait, actually, get in your last words. I'll say my last words and I'll end the show.
Oh, go ahead.
No. How can they reach you? And go ahead, do your.
Oh, all right. So you guys can reach me at Frezko Music on all social platforms. Also, if you're gonna check out my channel, Frankie Frezko, We do Let Me Talk to You podcast every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Tomorrow, I will be going in on Chris Greer. So if you guys want to hear and challenge me on that, you're more than welcome to. And then also, don't forget to also follow my brother. His That Way Nick. He's known on all social media platforms. And if you guys want to go ahead and reach out and be a guest on our podcast, you're more than welcome to also send me a message through Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever. And then of course, don't forget to tune in to Squared Circle Digest. We try to keep it wrestling, but this last 15 minutes, me and Sean, this is what you guys get for when me and him are good. We could go for hours, but
Yeah,
for
we went for an hour
hours.
that one time on your show, and I highly recommend going to their podcast.
And I would bring Sean again. Like we could debate this again. Just you and me if you want. Like my brother doesn't have to be there, but like I said,
bring them on, man. Let's go. I'll take on both Frezkos. I ain't worried. I ain't scared.
I see, Chad. But yeah, don't forget to follow me, and don't forget to also follow my boy Sean Stanley. At the end of the day, we're it's all about love here, man.
All about love, baby. All about love.
Friends.
All
We're
right. So here's
family.
my thing. My spiel at Sean_Stanley11, Stanley Media House YouTube channel. I got Squared Circle Digest talking wrestling, talking racing. Now it goes NASCAR, and Sports Talk with Sean Stanley is now going to be some takes from me, which is going to be very different than what Frankie Frezko thinks. Because Frankie Frezko just wants blood. He wants payment.
Call me Moxley.
I've been scorned. I'm a season ticket holder. You didn't do right by me. I want blood. I want scalps. I want everything. But this is all I'll say. Hold on a minute. Deep breath. Stephen Ross, move the Dolphins. In the words of Gordon Soley, so long from the Sunshine State. We don't deserve you, Dolphins.